there's a new grassroots movement being launched today that hopes to shake up the Canadian political system by creating an unstoppable force of people power using social media. We've seen it before in the United States with groups such as MoveOn.org. Now, a Canadian group called Leadnow.ca has been launched by young people, and it's taking direct aim at Parliament Hill and federal politicians with a demand that they work together on the challenges facing Canadians. I spoke with the co-founders of Leadnow.ca earlier this evening. From Vancouver, we're joined by Jamie Biggar. He's the co-founder and executive director of Leadnow.ca. He's on the right of your screen. And from Toronto, by Adam Shedletzsky, also a co-founder of the online campaign. Gentlemen, nice to see you both.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks for being here. Jamie Biggar, let me start with you. How would you describe the objectives of the Leadnow organization? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, so Leadnow.ca's goal is to create a new way for Canadians to come together, to find our shared values, to find our priorities for the country, and then to create a strong voice in Ottawa to get that message across.
All right,
really, when it comes down to it, we're trying to deepen our democracy.
Okay. Adam Shedletzsky, what inspired the two of you to start this campaign?
Well, it's funny you asked, actually. Around 2 years ago, if you would have asked me, I wouldn't have been very interested in politics at all. I was a management consultant. But I got really interested in climate change, and I realized how important our politics actually are. So when I learned more and more about how kind of divisive and toxic our political system is, it got me upset. And over the past year, Jamie and I have been thinking through different ways of, along with a whole bunch of other Canadians, of how to best strengthen the voice of everyday Canadians and make our politicians more responsive to the major challenges that they want addressed.
All right. Jamie Biggar, I mean, is this a campaign? You're both young men. Is this a campaign for young people only? Who are you trying to draw here?
Well, we were initially founded by a group of young people who were passionate about a whole range of issues last year. But our goal is to reach out and bring generations of Canadians together. That idea of intergenerational partnership is really important for us. And I know for a lot of older Canadians, they've been wondering where young people are and why they're not involved in the political system. And what we're trying to do is create a new way for them to get involved and bring those generations together.
Well, that's a good question. Where are young people and why aren't they more involved in the political system? Jamie Biggar, let me start with you on that.
Yeah, well, I think there's two answers to that. The first is that they're involved in all sorts of different ways in trying to make the world a better place. Our generation deeply cares about what's going on politically and all around the globe. But we tend to get involved in nonprofits or in direct actions within our communities, trying to make the world a better place in those ways. We tend to be kind of turned off by traditional institutions like the political parties or like the formal political system.
Adam Shedletzsky, so what's your message to the politicians in Ottawa then? What do you want them to know about why you've started this campaign and what you expect of them?
Well, I just think Canadians are really frustrated by the divisive and short-term nature of political thinking and political discourse right now in Ottawa. And it seems like we're always fighting over a campaign, over wedge issues that appeal to, specific segments of voters and swing ridings. And we see very little willingness on behalf of politicians to reach across party lines and cooperate to make progress on the major challenges that Canadians want to address. And right now, they're not doing that.
Okay, so Jamie Biggar, is your complaint with the government of the day, or to some extent with all politicians from all parties about the way politics is being played in this country today?
Well, I think that this government has been particularly bad in terms of its divisiveness and use of attack ads and focus on short-term interests. But with that said, and I think that there's lots of great politicians in all parties. With that said, though, I think it's a bad system where the incentives are focused on divisiveness and on short-term thinking and really force that upon people. So our focus with our campaign is to bring Canadians together independently to come up with, what are our key goals for the country, a really positive message about where we want our politicians to cooperate, these key areas that we want progress on. And we're going to bring them together to create what we're calling a declaration for change. And then ask Canadians to back that declaration with a commitment to vote in the next election for the politicians who will rise to the challenge.
All right, Adam in Toronto, what is it you see that's wrong? And to some extent, Jamie's laid it out for us. But in particular, what is it that young people see that's wrong with the system that you believe you can change?
Well, I think it just the current system doesn't speak to young people. And young people are just so turned off by how toxic and divisive the politics are, and they just tune out. And they don't trust political parties generally. And they're also really busy with their own lives and caring about all the really important stuff going on around the globe. So I think what we want to do is basically make politics relevant to them again, and make sure that they understand that they can have a voice, and they do have a voice. And by joining together with other like-minded people, their voice will be heard by the politicians in Ottawa.
All right, so Jamie Biggar, so what's next for the campaign? Now there's the online approach that people can take, that they can, which obviously gets them to join the campaign at Leadnow.ca. What events do you have planned as this campaign moves forward?
So, as I said before, we're bringing Canadians together to create this declaration for change. And the key piece of that's actually happening next week in what we're calling a week-long event called Regeneration Voices for Canada. And we have 50 events all across the country where people have come through Facebook and on our website to sign up local get-togethers to talk about their hopes and dreams for the country, where they want to see political cooperation. And so people can go to our website right now at Leadnow.ca and find an event near them to participate in, or sign up their own event, sign up their own get-together, so that they can have their voice become part of the declaration.
Right. Now, is this modeled on another movement? We've seen this populist on social media movement take place. We saw it in the last U.S. election campaign. What do you hope this becomes in Canada?
Yeah, I think that we hope that this is going to become a new way for hundreds of thousands of Canadians to come together around key moments, around critical moments when there are major issues at play in the media and on Parliament Hill, to be able to come together and have their voices heard, to be able to take action together, and really to strengthen that link between Canadians where they're at, online, in front of their TVs, and Parliament.
Like, so Adam, how would this work in practical terms? Like, would you, if we get an election campaign, we may get one soon, you've got a community of online campaigners sort of joining you here, would you be, looking at picking candidates in various ridings across the country as a group, or a party as a group, and sort of trying to influence the campaign outcome that way?
No, I don't think we're not going to get into supporting specific candidates or political parties. We're going to be completely independent of the political party system. What we want to do is, as Jamie mentioned, get this declaration for change together and figure out what are the major challenges that Canadians want our politicians to make progress on right now. And then once we have those three things, after we do a few weeks of priority voting online, we'll ask Canadians to sign up to back that commitment to the declaration and commit to vote. And yeah, we think that there's a real opportunity for a lot of people to get behind this independent call for cooperation. And what we'll do is we'll basically publish action cards that rate where all the political parties are on the major challenges that Canadians want addressed. And then we'll invite our members to vote for whatever politician they think will rise to the challenge.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it's interesting to see the project you've launched today, and we'll continue to follow what happens with Leadnow.ca. But I want to thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, Peter.